It was a rainy Monday morning in D.C., and President Donald Trump stood at the Oval Office window, arms crossed. On the resolute desk in front of him lay a sealed manila folder with damning evidence. A 2017 WhatsApp message showing Hunter Biden using his father's name to pressure a Chinese businessman into wiring millions. Trump had seen betrayal before, but this was different. Hunter using his father's influence for personal gain, with ties to trafficking and fraud. Trump turned to FBI Director Kash Patel and Attorney General Pam Bondi, his voice low and firm. "It's time. Begin the process. I want Hunter Biden prosecuted to the fullest." Inside an undisclosed building, IRS whistleblowers passed over evidence of Hunter Biden's fraud, false tax filings, massive wire transfers from China and Ukraine, and payments disguised as legal services through Hunter's shady law firm, Osco PC. "He trafficked women across state lines," one whistleblower whispered. Pam Bondi's face hardened. "Why didn't the last administration act?" she asked. "They buried it," they replied. The time for silence was over. Trump's announcement shook the media, but it was the undeniable documents that truly struck the nation. Leaked WhatsApp texts showed Hunter's chilling message, "I am sitting here with my father." As the nation watched, families across America gasped. The truth had surfaced and they couldn't ignore it. The country was awake. Trump wasn't celebrating, he was mourning for the victims whose lives had been affected by corruption and betrayal. The following day, Kash Patel, newly appointed FBI director, walked into the White House press room. Holding a file thick with evidence, he addressed the nation. "We have verified communications, bank records, and testimony proving that Hunter Biden knowingly committed federal crimes." The truth was now public. Meanwhile, Pam Bondi and her team prepared their next steps. They had uncovered a forensic audit showing over $3.7 million in deductions for a consulting that were actually payments to trafficked women. Hunter not only committed tax fraud, Bondi said, he helped run a trafficking ring under his father's shadow. Hunter sat in his Delaware apartment, shocked by the news. He watched as the documents, the WhatsApp messages, and the leaked information unfolded across the nation. "You said you'd protect me," he whispered as he poured himself another drink, his hands shaking. But protection was gone. Trump had exposed the truth, and the public wasn't blind anymore. As the days passed, millions saw the evidence, and public outrage swelled. People were glued to their screens, some in disbelief, others in tears. In the White House, Trump took action. "We're not here for revenge," he said. "We're here for justice." He authorized a massive declassification of evidence, including recovered audio recordings from Hunter's laptop. The recordings were horrifying. Hunter bragged about using his father's name to extort money and cover up his crimes. "People need to know the truth," Trump said, releasing the final evidence to the public. The video of Hunter Biden bragging about his father's influence went viral. Survivors came forward, sharing their harrowing stories of trafficking and abuse. The nation was listening now, and they weren't silent anymore. "Trump exposed what others hid," one mother said. "He finally told the truth." As the evidence mounted, the FBI's Kash Patel and Pam Bondi continued their investigation, tracking every wire transfer, every shady deal. The nation was in shock, but Trump had made it clear. This wasn't just about Hunter Biden. "It's about a system that has protected people like him for too long," Trump said. The next day, a letter from a victim was leaked online, detailing the pain and suffering caused by Hunter's actions. "He told me I'd be safe. He said his dad was powerful and no one could touch him," the victim wrote. The letter spread like wildfire. The truth was undeniable. Trump addressed the nation again. "This isn't about politics," he said, voice raw. "This is about saving families and exposing the lies." The crowd erupted in applause as Trump vowed to never stop fighting for justice. "We are not a perfect nation, but when we fall, we get back up." Meanwhile, the victims of Hunter's trafficking ring continued to speak out. One victim, Anna, shared her story at a press conference, revealing that she was brought to Washington, D.C. at just 16 years old. "He promised me fame," she said. "It was a lie." Her testimony sent shockwaves through the nation. Trump's team continued to release evidence, showing Hunter's foreign contracts and illegal wire transfers. The nation's anger grew. How could a father not know? People asked. The story had reached its breaking point. The American people were no longer divided along political lines. They stood united in their demand for justice. As the investigation progressed, a survivor named Claire came forward with even more shocking evidence. She handed over a USB drive containing irrefutable proof of Hunter's involvement in trafficking, along with names and dates. He knew, Claire said of Hunter, and he protected his father. Trump's team moved forward with the evidence. This isn't about headlines, Kash Patel said. This is about honor. The final phase of the investigation was underway. Trump authorized the largest whistleblower declassification in U.S. history, releasing hundreds of pages of documents to the public. The truth was out there for everyone to see. By the time the evidence had been fully released, the nation had already made up its mind. Hunter Biden's actions were no longer a secret. The country had chosen truth. And in a moment of unity, Trump stood before the nation and delivered a final message. This fight is for you, and I'm not stopping. The American people responded. They didn't just cry for the victims, they stood for them. Trump did what no one else would, a man in a diner said. He saved us. The story wasn't over, but the truth had been delivered, and for the first time in years, the nation had witnessed what true leadership looked like. It wasn't about politics, it was about justice. Trump had exposed the corruption and betrayal, and America was waking up. As the investigation continued, the people stood behind Trump, not because of his position, but because he had finally given them the truth. In the end, it was clear. This wasn't just about Hunter Biden. It was about a system that had failed the American people, and now it was being held accountable.